Name, age, and occupation.
My name's David Kinne. I'm 38 years old and currently work as a stunt performer, although I'm kind of changing careers.
Stunt performer in
Yes.
the air?
No, in the air. I mean, I do work. I have my commercial pilot's license.
No, so I saw that in your bio.
Yeah,
so that's
where I'm transitioning and stepping away from stunts. You know, I want to slowly accumulate enough wealth so I can start a family. It's kind of like my dream. And so, yeah, but I do stunts, mainly just high falls, fighting, you know, falling on the ground, a lot of wire work, rope work, things like that.
So how long had you been doing this for? How did you get involved in this?
I actually got into stunts pretty late, actually. I think
Really?
Since 2016 or so, a
Wow.
little under 10 years. But it's been a wild ride since then. A lot of bruises, a lot of bumps along the way, but I love it.
So how did that happen? Are you just someone that, like, consistently, fell from tall towers and was like, I think I can make a career out of this?
You know, I guess I've kind of always been a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. You know, like I worked as a whitewater rafting instructor in Colorado for like 6 summers, and obviously played sports throughout my whole life. And I've always kind of been chasing the thrill of random things that might, some people might, I guess, be a little squeamish of. And I don't know, I guess kind of learns that, I don't want to say that I'm pretty fearless, because I don't know, sounds a little arrogant, but then again, I am a little arrogant. So yeah. I've always been a little fearless, and so I kind of put performance and, I guess, athletics together, and you get stunts.
So then, how did that segue? Yeah, was being a pilot something in particular that you had always wanted to do? What made you finally decide, like, this was the time to make your big move, in a manner of speaking?
Well, I love doing stunts, but again, at 38 years old, starting to wear and tear on my body, starting to hit pretty hard, and no pun intended. And so I wanted a career that, I guess, would provide the stability that I lacked doing stunts. And so that's why I decided to become a pilot. Really what happened is I got my sports pilot certificate as a hobby.
Ooh.
I'm a man of many hobbies. And literally, I was at a wedding, one of my good friends was getting married, and he had just got his pilot's license, and he turned to me and he's like, hey, like, you do everything. Like, I have nobody to fly with. You ever thought about getting your pilot's license? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. That was literally my reaction. The next day I signed up for pilot's license. And then eventually, after I got my sports pilot certificate, I realized, you know what? This can probably be a pretty good career. I might as well just go for this.
Wow. So then, what made you go from being a pilot to the game of pilots and passengers, if you will, the game of Survivor? I mean, you spoke about being an adrenaline junkie. Is that par for the course with this?
Absolutely. I love to challenge myself, and what other challenge is there like Survivor?
Yeah.
So, I feel like everything that I've done in my life has kind of led me to this moment, or at least trained me for this moment, because I think, my social skills, my physical skills, my adept, even puzzles, for example. I think I'm fairly good at puzzles as well. And I think pretty much everything that I've done so far in my life is going to have or give me an advantage in this game. And so therefore I had to apply, number one, to challenge myself, see if I'm as good as I actually think I am. And you know what? Maybe it'll allow me good fortune and I'll go home with $1 million.
How long have you been watching the show for? What's your history with watching Survivor?
I'm not going to lie, not a whole lot.
Okay.
So, again, I knew of Survivor, so I grew up watching the first few seasons with my family, like a lot of people. And admittedly, never watched it again until after I applied. And then once I got interest from my application, I was like, I should probably actually go back and watch the show. And it's a really funny story because, I got a call from one of the casting producers, Penny. She called me and she's like, oh, great, love your resume. All right, you're gonna have a one-on-one with Jeff. And I was like, great. What's his last name? And I swear to God, and she's like, Probst, and I'm on a computer talking like this. Okay, how do you spell that? Probst, and I can hear her hesitation in the phone, and so she hesitates and says something else. So I type into Google Jeff Probst, and I'm like, oh, that's the host. His face pops up, and I obviously recognize him. She's like, yes, that's the host, you fucking idiot. What do you mean? What are you doing applying on Survivor? So yeah, and so next thing you know, she love-hate relationship. She wanted me on the show, but again, I needed to watch the show, so I did go back and watch the new eras, and I kind of watched a couple of the older ones, but I don't really have a whole lot of Survivor under my belt, to be honest.
Well, I think even from your limited experience, I'd love to ask you, just watching the seasons you have, give me a winner and a non-winner who you identify with the most, personally, strategically, etc.
Ooh, I'm an arrogant a-hole at times, but I love Austin, actually. I think he just very sincere, very kind. And I think I'll play a lot like Austin because at the end of the day, I do need to diminish my threat level. And I do believe in kindness, number one, And so I like Austin. I like the game that he played. I like how sincere he was. And, it kind of stabbing him in the back, so I won't be able to play maybe as nice as Austin, but at least that's kind of like my goal, just be likable like him. And, I think Dee also played a very good game. So season 45 is definitely my favorite season of Survivor, if you can't already tell. And then also, a lot of people compare me to Jonathan Young. I don't know why. I mean, but hey, so shocker.
You say as you subtly flex your arm.
Yeah, subtly flex, but but I think Jonathan's great, but he definitely lacked the social game and the puzzle-solving abilities that I have, so we'll see. If he can get to the Final Four or Final Five, then maybe I'll do a little better.
Well, I'm intrigued because, obviously, again, you're someone who is self-admittedly not, like, a huge fan, but when you found out you were going, when you found out who Jeff Probst was, what was your process like? Was it sort of a broad-based thing? Were you pursuing specific skills to get ready for this experience?
Well, I mean, obviously I've been working out and going to the gym for over 22 years. There are things that I did do differently. Like, I've been obviously more about strength, less endurance. I did up the cardio. My friends will tell you that I don't really do a whole lot of cardio, but, I can still hold my own, I guess. So training-wise, I definitely changed up a bit, but to be honest, like, I was in pretty good shape when I applied, so I didn't have to do too much.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in probably the best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah, so if you could give me your biggest superpower and your biggest piece of kryptonite when it comes to this game or your own life, like, what would it be and why?
Ooh, like superpower. I mean, I don't know. I do have a superhuman ability, though.
What's this?
Yeah, so when I go diving, because I love to dive, one of my hobbies that I have, free diving and scuba diving, and I don't have to like pinch my nose to equalize. Like I can pop my ears on command. So yeah, it's a nice little handy thing that happens when I go diving, and I have to sit there and do that. Like
amazing on airplanes.
On airplanes, it's great.
Oh, perfect for a pilot.
Obviously, perfect for a pilot. So yeah, beneficial in that. That's my superhuman ability. And what was the other one you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, is there a superpower from like your life that you feel might be your best quality in the game?
Might be my best quality in the game. Ooh, I don't know. I think I can chisel away at people that don't like me. I think I can find common ground on someone because, look, I'm a nerd trapped in a jock's body. All right, it might not be obvious, but I can connect with pretty much anybody because I have so many different hobbies and so many different interests. And I think that even if you don't like me, you'll kind of slowly be like, okay, this guy's not so bad. Be like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I think I have that effect on a lot of people as long as they just take the time to get to know me. When you're stuck on an island, they're gonna have to. So
yeah, give me unpack your nerd resume for me. What would you classify as nerd?
I'm a huge gamer. Like
nice.
Yeah, PC Master Race all the way. Like I can talk to you all day long about that. I lived in Japan for 4 years, so I did get introduced to a lot of anime.
Wow.
So I don't know. I'm just kind of all over the spectrum. I build my own PCs as well. I love board games. Like I just love anything with a challenge, really. And yeah, so I mean, I'm a big kind of a sap, to be honest. Like I love rom-coms. My favorite movie of all time is Notting Hill.
Oh yeah.
Not afraid to admit it. Like. They just don't make movies like that anymore. Although, Anyone But You was pretty good.
I did like Anyone But You.
I did like that movie. Yeah,
and I feel like there was a lot of discourse at the time of like, oh, you can still make these types of movies.
Yes, exactly. Like, the banter going back and forth, I was like, this is great. Like, I love that.
So then, what would you say is your biggest piece of kryptonite? What do you think is your biggest weakness from your own personality that might play into the game?
My biggest kryptonite in the game, honestly, some people might say my arrogance or my confidence could get me in trouble. I think it's an asset. I think it's better to be too confident than too, I guess, humble. Especially in a game like Survivor or any competitive nature or any competitive, circumstance. So we'll see. I don't really know. I wouldn't say that I really have a kryptonite. Like I'm not worried about the food. I'm not worried about the social game. I'm not really worried about the puzzles. I'm not like the greatest at puzzles. I honestly don't think I have. I don't think I have really anything to worry about.
How do you think you're going to be perceived in this game? Because you talk about how your physicality might precede you. Is that something you want to steer into?
It doesn't matter if I want to steer into it or not. It's there. Like I can't. There's no way I'm going to fly into the radar. I can't fit under the radar. Okay, like it's just not going to happen. So I have to embrace that. And again, I think the key is to just be kind. Like I can be a physical threat. People are going to know that. So I'm going to have to maybe downplay my social abilities or maybe downplay any sort of puzzle-solving abilities I may have. But at the end of the day, I think just being kind to people, really sincerely just being kind and nice and hopefully establishing friendships that are going to take me, a little bit beyond the merge at least. And then from there, I might have to make some waves, but we'll see.
Yeah, because I mean, once the merge hits, we just saw this with Hunter a little bit last season too, right? It's this matter of like, will all eyes be on you, and how do you adjust your game from there?
Yes, I think Hunter lacked a little bit of the social game that would have kept him in the game longer. But yeah, I think you're very much hitting the nail on the head, and I think that's what everybody's going to look at me and think, okay, he's going to be great until the merge, and then, first boot come jury or merge. And honestly, I just hope that I can, have enough of a social game to last me a little longer. And let's be honest, I'm really not going to need to worry about it because I'm just going to win every challenge anyway. So.
That's exactly.
This is all Plan B stuff.
You just have that necklace tattooed on your body.
Exactly.
What would you say is one life experience that has prepared you the most for this? Obviously, you have lived this incredibly varied life. Can you pick out anything that you think might be most appropriate to this game?
I think, honestly, being in a state of pressure constantly. Life and death scenarios even. Like for myself and other people. Like I do not buckle under pressure whatsoever. I thrive in it. And I think that, honestly, is going to bode very well for this game. So just, again, from whether it's stunts, whether it's, flying planes that are older than I am, don't know if they're going to fall out of the sky, whether it's, going down Class 5 rapids. Like, I live under pressure, and I think that's one of my greatest strengths, and I think it's going to translate very well to this game.
So we spoke about your perception. Let's flip that around on some of the other people that are sitting out there. Because I'm sure, as you talked about, you've been kind of sitting in silence for the past several days. I'm sure you have some thoughts, some reads. Let's start with the positive side of things. Describe to me some people that you're getting good vibes from. That, like, best case scenario, day one, you hit the beach together. This could be a ride or die for me.
Okay. There's an older woman. I get the oldest woman on the cast, I guess. And she's always smiling. And it's weird to me that everybody is sitting there so stoic and just in their little books and taking down notes. And I'm like trying to like smile at people and just be nice. Like, because again, that's just me in the real world. And it's just so weird how stoic and how, I guess, unenthusiastic people are. And so the few people that do smile and do give me at least, something, like shows me that they are humans, that I pick up on. And so she has been very nice and just, pleasant. Just, again, we don't talk, we don't really say anything. And it's just the quickest of smiles, but you can just tell that she's sincere and kind. And I really like that. I think kindness goes a long way, and that's why I look for in allies. Because when someone's kind, they're more than likely going to be honest as well. So that's what I kind of look for, is people that are kind in the game, and I'm going to be friends with them and try to make alliances with them. And so she's at the top of my list. Don't know if she's on my tribe or not, but and then also there is a few others. There's a man with glasses. He's also doing the same. He's always looking around, trying to be friendly and just smile. And you can kind of pick up on things. People that just say thank you to those who are around, even if something, like picking up a dish, and they'll just say thank you, whereas others don't. And to me, that goes a long way.
That's so interesting because the courtesy that they provide others, you hope that would extend even in a cutthroat game like Survivor.
Exactly. So, those two for sure. And I think, honestly, there's this shorter Asian guy, and I have a feeling he's going to do really well in the challenges. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that, he's very athletic. Like, you can kind of tell from his physique, but I think he's going to be a force to reckon with, for sure.
Now, is that someone you're like, great meat shield, or is that someone you're saying, like, big competition, I want to get rid of them?
I mean, I want the competition, so, but I wouldn't say big competition, but I would definitely keep my eye on him, for sure.
Anybody else that you're not picking up a good vibe from, or you're not even able to read, which can itself be a red flag?
No, I think I'm pretty good at reading people. Let me see. Anybody that jumps out? Not particularly, I would guess. There's a Marianne-looking girl, and I think she, once again, is kind of giving off that very kind, very sincere vibe.
Yeah.
I would love to be friends with her. I hope she's on my tribe as well.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, everybody has, I've taken my little notes on any of everybody that's come across, but those are the ones that kind of stand out so far. Everybody else is still up in the air.
The DNA of the new era is all about advantages, idols, journeys. I mean, how much do you plan on incorporating that into your own game?
Well, I'm going to need it, let's be honest. Okay, because as much as I say I'm going to win every challenge, odds are probably against me. I don't know. Insert small flex. But yeah, so I know I'm going to need an idol at some point. I know I'm going to need an advantage at some point. And the further the game gets, the more desperate I may become. And we'll see how that plays out in the game. But I absolutely know that if I'm going to win this game, I'm going to need something.
Are you somebody that, like, when the boat pulls up at camp for a journey, are you someone that's going to volunteer, or are you going to put yourself down
Day
up
one,
front?
absolutely not.
Yeah.
But then again, also, like, I'm already a threat, and people know that, and they're going to want me. So maybe I'll have to see how it's going with my tribe, to be honest. Because if I feel like I feel like I have a really strong tribe, I might not need it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I would be safer than most, being that physical dominant, challenge beast that most people would expect me to be, and so therefore they want to hopefully hold on to me and carry them to the merge. So we'll see. It's all contextual.
Do you anticipate stepping up into a leadership role just based on that sort of physical stature? Or are you more so like, use me for challenges and then I'm good?
I do not want to be in a leadership role because I do not want to have my threat level raised beyond what it already has to be. All right? I would happily be the pack mule. All right, I'll be the farm boy, you know, grabbing your pitcher, whatever you need, man. Like, I got you, okay? Just do not put me in the leadership role because I don't want to have any other eyes on me more so than they have to be.
Interesting.
So, until at least initially.
Mm-hmm.
And then my whole goal is to obviously form those friendships and then start to whisper in their ears, hey, you know, maybe so-and-so. And then eventually, yes, I will take on a leadership role, whether there's a mutiny or not. I will take on that role eventually, but definitely not initially.
What is your most controversial Survivor opinion? What do you think is your hottest take about a player, a season, the show in general, the new era?
So, again, I haven't watched a lot of Survivor, but the last season I was watching was Heroes versus Villains. I would love some of those, like, just one-on-one brutal challenges, man. Like, let's bring those
back.
That
from your perspective.
Well, of course I'm going to say that from my perspective. Yeah, I mean, what do you want from me? Like, you know, you're throwing the puzzles at people. Why can't I throw the physical challenges at others? Like, come on.
Where's the challenges for us?
Right, where's the challenges for me?
I mean, that was an epic challenge.
It was.
I mean, it was... You talk about putting your body on the line like you do.
Yes.
I mean, their shoulders were dislocated and toes were broken. Like,
only for the week.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. That's true.
God, people are going to hate me back home. Oh, well, sorry.
No,
sorry,
I mean, this is what we're here for, right? To make good TV. So when it comes to the past couple seasons for 45, 46, I feel like it's been such a step from what we saw previously in the new era. As you've been prepping for this experience, is there anything you took away from those past few seasons that you want to incorporate into your own game, just based on the stuff that happened out here previously?
Yeah, I think it goes back to taking on those leadership roles. It seems more often than not they have a detrimental effect to one's game.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, sort of like Hunter did, you know, he can be a challenge beast, but then he sort of just laid low during the camp life. I think that's kind of the route to take, but he stuck with that for far too long. He needed to transition into, you know, a position of power, and he just tried to ride that wave a little too long. And so that's where he screwed up, and that's where I'm not going to screw up, hopefully, knock on wood. Almost knocked on the table, sorry.
That's fine.
But yeah, I think, honestly, learning to just keep your mouth shut. You know, I grew up with 3 sisters. I should be pretty good at that. And, you know, be patient. Bide my time until it's my moment.
If you could pick a celebrity or a fictional character to bring out as a loved one for a loved one's visit, who would it be and why?
I don't know. Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, okay.
Yeah!
Hannibal Lecter himself.
Right? I mean, I feel like everything that guy says is a poem. So, you know what? Where else can you draw inspiration from?
That's very true. Like, I think everything would just stop, and everyone would just look over at him as he goes into a beautiful monologue.
He's my favorite actor, so I don't know. That just kind of sprung to mind, honestly. But, yeah, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, last thing I want to ask. Obviously, we know Survivor 50 is on the horizon. It's going to be returnees. How are you going to make your mark on season 48 so that we're going to be talking a year from now for season 50?
Well, I was told that the most immunity win challenges in one season is 5, correct?
It is, that's correct.
All right, so I'll just have to do 6.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
I should be a shoo-in at that point. You know, and if I don't, maybe I go out early, maybe things don't work out in my favor, maybe I suck at challenges, maybe I'm just all talk, then, well, hopefully I'm entertaining enough that, you know, people are going to want to see me fail again.